Today I want to talk about what's new with Composer.trade. Composer is a type of hybrid brokerage that allows you to develop trading strategies without any sort of skills. Now, I did a couple of videos about Composer in the past, but there's a lot of new things available now. The first thing is there's an iPhone app. Now, the iPhone app for Composer is actually really good. I played around with it on the iPhone. It's actually it looks pretty good. It doesn't just look like a web version for the iPhone. And if you look at the reviews, they're pretty good so far. Okay, and now that Composer's been around a while now, the trading volume, they've had over 2 billion in trading volume, 900,000 orders executed, 5 million backtests run. Also, Composer now has retirement accounts. They have traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, and 401ks, and they will cover the transfer fees. This was one of my criticisms for them in the past, is that they didn't have retirement accounts. And with these types of trading accounts, it's possible that you could have lots of gains and losses, and who wants to have to deal with all the tax issues associated with that? So they have Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, and 401ks. They will cover transfer fees for ACATS transfers for up to $125 for any transfer fee that you have to pay to transfer from a brokerage. Now, what's also new is Composer now has crypto trading, and the crypto trading is free. Okay, now I'm logged into the Composer interface. As you can see, there is free crypto trading now, but it's not available in all states. For example, this is not available in my state, the state of Nevada. Now, Composer uses the Alpaca brokerage for crypto trading. As of January 10th, 2024, crypto trading is available in the following states. So you've got California, you've got quite a few states here. California, Georgia, Idaho. There's actually a lot of states. And the following international jurisdictions. You've got Antarctica, Aruba, Australia. There's a whole bunch of countries here. So you can do backtesting with crypto just like you can with stocks. The great thing about the backtesting with Composer is it's really quick. And you can see the variety of the returns, and you can see the holdings that it invests in with the graph. Now, if we go back to the stocks and we look under community, there's a whole bunch of new trading strategies that are created by people. So these are Composer users. Anyone that's a Composer user can create these trading strategies. And the nice thing about this, when there's an issue with the backtest as far as the dates, this says it's not available until 2023. This date doesn't go back. You just hit fix issues and it automatically adjusts the timeline so that there's no issues. Okay, this one is called Pure Cash Plus. Annualized return 19.6. The S&P 500 has done better for the annualized return so far. But you can see what they're invested in here. Simulated holdings, got quite a few stocks here. So they're basically just selecting a bunch. They're selecting some short bond ETFs, short duration, ultra short ETF, some treasury bills, and there's also equal weight among these options here. This one's pretty complicated. Some of these can get pretty complicated, so that's enough of that one. Here's one, diversify with SIN stocks. And we've got a 2-year period. And the diversify with SIN stocks return roughly 70% versus about 40% for the S&P 500. And you've got a description of the trading strategy. It says, investing in a sustainable future feels good. However, earning money feels good too. So this one shows the simulated return. You've got an initial investment of $100,000. The final value after 2 years is $168,000. And they actually have the trading pass fees built in here, which is nice. So this is Composer's $30 a month subscription fee, assuming that. That's assuming you didn't refer anyone and get a discount. Okay, this one's pretty simple. So if the 60-day cumulative return of the S&P 500 is less than or equal to 1%, then select the top 2 of these. These are the top 2 returning ones within that 60-day period. So there's a leisure and entertainment ETF, there's a aerospace and defense, there's an energy ETF, and a gaming and sports ETF. And if it's not less than or equal to 1%, like if it's great, so if it's not less than or equal to 1%, if it's greater than that, then it's going to select this ESG Vanguard US ETF and invest in that. And the great thing about Composer, even with the free account, we can select to edit this, and it costs nothing. You could play around, edit it, see how these returns work out before you invest money in any of these things. So now let's look at the back test on this one. We can hit run and see how quick it goes. Very quick. We can see that mostly in the last week or so, it's been invested in this ESG Vanguard ETF. Or we can go down through the table. We can look at what else on September 6th, and it did the investment in something else. And if that's not good enough for us, we can look at the graph and see it visually. So pretty neat. You also have the Composer created ones, copy the greats. You have Warren Buffett's trading strategy. You've got Ray Dalio. The Warren Buffett type strategy has basically slightly underperformed the S&P 500 recently. It's basically 90% in the S&P 500 and 10% in short-term U.S. government bonds. All of these that you select edit on are available in the drafts. And I have one here. It says copy by the dips NASDAQ 100. If I select edit, you can edit this. Now, I actually looked to see if they have some updated. I actually looked at this to see if they've changed this to where there's more options available. It's still pretty much the same. There's basically, it's mostly price movement. So you've got standard deviation, relative strength, moving average, max drawdown, cumulative return, and you can select the ticker symbols for this. And there's basically less than, greater than, else if statements. Now there's also a create with AI now in Composer. So you could actually create a trading strategy with using AI. On the desktop platform, I don't see an option to talk. So you actually have to type it out. But you could select one of these, for example, and it will create a trading strategy for you. Or if you want something more specific, you can tell it to do something more specific. So now we've got a interest rate adaptive strategy that is created. Okay, that's it. Now it's already created the strategy. It's got a real estate ETF, a financial ETF, and some treasury bonds. Now all we have to do is select insert and backtest. So now we have the strategy here. Now, unfortunately, this one underperformed the S&P 500, but you saw how easy it was to create that. Under the community created strategies, there's a nice option here where you can sort by cumulative return and annualized return. If we sort by cumulative return, the worst performing one has already lost 42%, and that's only since September 6, 2024. Now this one actually is a short. It shorts the stock market. It shorts. Now this one, here's the S&P 500. You can see the PSQ equivalent. It basically invests in either QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100, or the Ultra Pro Short, 3 times short fund. So it's 3 times the leverage, and that's why this one did so poorly. And if we select the highest return, just since November of 2022, 600% return. This is a Bitcoin strategy one. This Bitcoin strategy one, this one from 100,000 went to 710,000. And this one looks like it's invested mostly in MicroStrategy. Here's another one that did pretty well. It's a mean reversion comparison to Python code. This one's returned 430% versus 63% for the S&P 500 since November 2022. This mean reversion strategy says if the current price of SPY is greater than the 200 moving average of the price of SPY, then equal weight, and then there's another condition here. If the 10-day relative strength of TQQQ is greater than 79%, then it selects this ultra short futures one. Otherwise, it selects TQQQ, which is a leveraged NASDAQ 100 or QQQ index. I believe this is 3 times leverage. Otherwise, if this condition is not met, then it does this one down here, which is the SPY, the regular S&P 500. And this also has a condition. If the relative strength of TQQ is greater than 79%, it picks this. Otherwise, it selects the leveraged QQQ one. So basically, it's using a lot of leverage. So that's why this one did so well. What else is Composer working on? Well, there's a business account option in the future. Right now, when you select the business option, it says join waitlist. So this isn't available yet. There's also resources on tutorials, ETF research. So for example, if we want to see the ETFs that are available, there's actually a lot available because it goes through, I think, mostly Alpaca. But we could select Vanguard S&P 500. We could select view. You see the trading price for the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. You can see the fee, trading volumes, passive, active, passive, prospectus. and you see the top holdings. Another nice thing they have is the ETF comparison, where you can actually see the chart comparison. So you could do the BlackRock IVV S&P 500 versus the Vanguard one. You select compare, and you have this nice back test of the performance. And we can compare the performance between the two. Under resources, you can see a variety of trading strategies. I don't think all these were available before. Okay, so how much does Composer cost? It's free just to do the back testing, but if you want to invest real money, it costs nothing if you're using crypto and you're in a state or a country that allows it, but there is a 0.2% commission per trade, and it's only available in certain regions. Otherwise, if you're investing in stocks and ETFs with an IRA account or a non-IRA account, it's $24 a month with the trading pass. Now that's billed annually, or it's $30 a month. Now there's discounts available. If you actually have a regular account and an IRA, there's a discount associated with that. And when you refer people, they get a discount and you get a discount. Now, one thing I want to mention about, as far as the fees are pretty normal. It goes mostly through Alpaca, but Alpaca does have a very high reorganization fee of $100 per ticker. So if you have a stock that's going to get acquired, basically sell it first unless you want to pay $100, because that's kind of a huge ripoff. That's my biggest complaint with Alpaca and Composer, is this reorganization fee of $100. That's about over twice what I was charged, $38 with an E-Trade account when I had one of my stocks got acquired and I was too lazy to sell first. But to get hit with the $100 one, that hurts a little bit. Now, if you want to try Composer, you can sign up with my referral link. Basically, just sign up, enter the code right here, and you will receive 25% off for life. And if you refer people, the same happens to you. And if you refer 4 people, it's free forever.